Okay, so let's set the scene. We're standing right at the river Jabbok. Jacob, who's just been renamed Israel and is literally limping from wrestling with God, is about to face his final, biggest test. And this time, it's not some divine being in the dark. Nope. This is the real deal, the consequence of 20 years of his own choices, his own sin, marching right towards him. We're going to dive deep into the incredible theological drama of this moment right out of Genesis 33.
So the text says, Jacob lifts up his eyes. And if you know Genesis, you know that phrase is like a drum roll for a major turning point. And who does he see? His estranged brother Esau. But, Esau is not alone, not by a long shot. This isn't some awkward family get-together. This is a full-blown confrontation. You got to remember, all that faith Jacob just found wrestling in the dark, well, now it has to survive in the bright light of day, staring down the very man he cheated and ran from all those years ago.
And this is why Jacob is absolutely terrified, because Esau is coming with 400 men. 400. Let me tell you, in the Old Testament, that is not a welcoming committee. That is a private army. It's a show of overwhelming, deadly force. But here's the thing, and this is key. That number, 400, is anything but random. It's actually a message from God, a huge theological statement about exactly what's at stake here.
Okay, you ready for this? This is where it gets absolutely fascinating. In Hebrew, every letter has a numerical value, and the number 400 belongs to the letter Tav. Now, Tav is the very last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It symbolizes things like completion, final judgment, the boundary of death itself. But here's the kicker. In its most ancient form, the pictograph for the letter Tav was a cross, a simple cross-like mark. You see what's happening? God is sending Jacob this massive, unmistakable sign. He's basically saying, Jacob, the reconciliation you want, the blessing you've been fighting for, it can only be found by walking through the shadow of the cross, by facing the judgment, the death that your sin has earned.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll look at the sign of the cross in this whole situation, then Jacob's incredible act of humility. After that, we'll see the hand of God intervene, leading to this amazing moment with the face of grace. And finally, we'll see how this whole thing sets up two totally different models of kingship.
Okay, first up, the sign of the cross. We have to understand that this army, these 400 men, are so much more than just a physical threat. You have to see them as the living, breathing, walking consequence of Jacob's sin from 20 years ago. He is literally watching his judgment march towards him. It's the Tav of his past, made flesh.
And you know, this reveals a pattern you see all through the Bible. It's incredible. Think back to the story of the bronze serpent in the wilderness. The Israelites were being bitten by snakes and dying. And to be healed, what did they have to do? They had to look up at a bronze statue of the very thing that was killing them. It's the same principle here. Jacob has to lift up his eyes and look directly at this army, the very symbol of his potential death, if he wants to find life and reconciliation. It's this powerful foreshadowing of the cross, that life is only ever found by looking death right in the face.
So the big question is, how does Jacob react to this cross-shaped threat? Does he prepare for battle? No, he does something completely different. He responds with total, absolute spiritual surrender. He just wrestled with God, right? Now he's going to bow before his brother. Let's dig into this act of humility.
So what does he do? He walks out ahead of his entire family and he bows to the ground. Not just once, 7 times. 7. Now, of course, the number 7 in the Bible is huge, right? It always means perfection, completeness, but there's a hidden layer here, a linguistic clue that's even more profound.
Okay, check this out. It's one of those moments where the original Hebrew just blows your mind. The word for 7, which is shava, comes from the exact same 3-letter root as the word to swear an oath, shava. They're practically the same word. So when Jacob bows 7 times, he's not just being respectful. He is performing a covenantal act. It's a silent, perfect oath. He's laying down his old self, Jacob the grabber, the deceiver, and basically saying, I surrender. I accept the judgment.
All right, so Jacob has made his move, this act of complete surrender, and now something happens that nobody could have predicted. I mean, Esau is the rough hunter, the guy who swore he would kill his brother, and he just completely melts. But we need to be crystal clear about this. This isn't just Esau having a change of heart. This is God stepping in. It is a full-on divine interruption. The Bible describes what happens next in this incredible rapid-fire list of 5 actions. It says Esau ran, and he embraced him, and he fell on his neck, and he kissed him, and they wept.
Now in Hebrew, every single one of those verbs starts with the letter vav, which is the word for and. It's like a hook that links them all together, creating this unstoppable, seamless flow of grace. But it gets even better. Grammatically, hidden inside each of those verbs is the letter yod, which is the Hebrew symbol for the hand of God. So what the text is screaming at us is that this isn't just Esau being emotional. This is divine choreography. It is literally the hand of God causing Esau to run, the hand of God causing him to embrace, the hand of God turning murderous rage into tears of reunion. It's a miracle. So, because of this direct intervention from God, Jacob survives. And in that moment of survival, everything clicks into place for him. He finally understands what just happened, and it leads him to say something absolutely breathtaking.
He says to Esau, "For I have seen your face, as one sees the face of God, and you have accepted me." Just let that sink in. He looks at the brother he was sure was going to kill him, and in that face, a face completely transformed by forgiveness, he sees God. He came expecting judgment, but what he found was grace.
And there's a specific Hebrew word for this kind of favor. It's the word chen. It means grace, but specifically unearned, undeserved favor. What Jacob saw in his brother's face wasn't just Esau being a nice guy, it was chen. It was the favor of God made visible right there in the face of the man who should have hated him. Jacob walked through the shadow of the cross and came out the other side into grace.
Now, this powerful moment ends up changing both brothers forever. It actually sets them on two completely different paths, and in doing so, it gives us these two competing models of what it means to be a leader, or even a king. And the contrast between them is just so stark. On one hand, you have Esau, the human king. His power is all about strength. His 400 men, the number of judgment. He moves fast. He's unforgiving. But then you have Jacob, who's now modeling the divine king. His rule is all about protecting the weak. And get this. Remember that gift of 220 animals he sent ahead? Well, the numerical value of 220 in Hebrew is the word rach, which means soft or weak. So when Jacob tells Esau he can't keep up, that he has to move slowly at the pace of the children and the nursing animals, the weak ones, he's making a profound statement. God's kingdom finds its strength not in armies, but in its absolute commitment to protecting the vulnerable.
So this ancient, amazing story really forces us to ask a pretty tough, modern question, doesn't it? Jacob only found true reconciliation when he was finally willing to turn and face his 400 men, the full, terrifying consequence of his sin, the thing that looked like a cross. And that really leaves us with this final thought. If true reconciliation with God and with the people in our lives really does demand facing that cross, what 400 men are we refusing to see?